Henshin a go baby, what's good guys? Yoku here, and damn, I knew it. Imagine Dragon is busted, broken, if you will. And to be completely honest, I am not a fan of this. I will explain. From 1.0 to 1.3, basically, we've had to look at Seele as the predominant top tier DPS character, which some people might have issues with that. I personally do not. And I'm not saying this is someone who loves Seele. I'm saying this is someone who understands how character progression, how game progression, how the development of the meta shifts in a lot of other games. So I don't really care if Seele has been the top tier character or remains to be the top tier character from now and in the future. What kept Seele so high in the tier placement is a number of reasons. The ease of use, the ability to use multiple different relic sets, the fact that she didn't need her signature light cone to output so much damage, and the fact that she works with almost every character in the game. From that point, we've had multiple DPS characters such as Jingyuin, Kafka, Blade, and now Imagine Dragon. And while the previous characters had some limitations to how they get their significantly stupid damage, Imagine Dragon doesn't really have the limitations that we assumed he was going to have. And I think that's where the problem lies, at least for me. All right, so we're over on Prydwen because that is typically what a lot of you guys look at. I have seen some of the CN stuff as well, but I haven't seen a updated CN tier list or tier placement as of right now. I know what they're thinking, or rather, I don't want to say I know what they're thinking. I know what they're discussing, but I have not seen any definite, we all agree on this as a CN community, and put that out there. Right now, we only have Prydwen, to my understanding, to be able to look at. I don't want to turn this into a tier list video because that's not really what this is about, but I do want to talk about the tier list for just a moment here. Now, in the last one that I did, a lot of you guys were trying to call me out on not reading the tier list criteria, which I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, this stuff doesn't matter as much. Like, as much as you guys make it seem like it does, it doesn't, right? Manual play, that's fine. Using optimal team composition and support characters, I always assume this whenever I'm looking at tier list. I don't know why you wouldn't think about the optimal solutions or situations for certain things. Characters being at level 80, that's fine. Major traces unlocked and skills upgraded to level 8, that's also fine. Characters equipped level 80 light cone, 4-star and 5-star, but only those available to free-to-play players. Now, this is where I have an issue. This is predominantly where I would have the biggest issue because this does severely limit some of the characters and what they should or shouldn't be doing. And then everything else beneath that is just kind of whatever. If we go over the actual ratings for these characters, S+ tier is basically a god character, overpowered, dominates in their role, that's fine. S-, great, versatile character that barely has any flaws. A tier, good character, has very little flaws, good. B, decent character, big flaws holding them back, definitely understandable. Underwhelming character, and then please buff me. Totally understand the criteria here, the ratings are explained. Now that we're all on the same page, we can actually look at this and like my issue with Imagine Dragon being thrown in S+ tier. We have single target as well as the 3 target, and then even AoE. Okay, so we can see everything here. They're all situated and separated. That's fine. I love this. My biggest issue with Dan Heng now being in S+ tier, which I'm not refuting. I'm not refuting that he is broken or cracked out, if you will. I don't like, that's a way better way to put it. I don't like Dan Heng being this cracked out as a character. And like in the game currently right now, I don't like that. Now, maybe, I guess Dan Heng is supposed to be the Aeons or what do we call them in Genshin Impact? The something, right? You have Venti, Zhongli, Raiden, the new water thingy, the thingy, I can't think of what it's called, but we call them something, Archons, right? We call them the Archons. They're like god characters. They're supposed to be cracked out. That's fine. If Dan Heng is supposed to be the Archon of the game, and we'll be getting more Archons of the game in the future, that's fine. I understand that from a conceptual perspective. But looking at what Dan Heng allows, right? Imagine Dragon has some crazy ability to his kit. Let me show you right now in the game, and for the light cone purposes, right? Because you can't see because I'm in the way. I am holding a destruction. It's level 1 because I haven't made the decision if I want his signature light cone or not yet. I don't need it. I don't think anybody needs it, but I do like the ability to have to not worry about the extra crit rate. That extra 18% crit rate would give me exactly what I need to be able to use Rudel in Arena. And that's something to be considered for a lot of the characters, or rather why Dan Heng is the way he is. When it comes to his traces, I think this one here, yeah, this one gives you crit damage, not crit rate when attacking imaginary weak enemies, which was, I'm not gonna call it a nerf, but it definitely would have helped him out in order to immediately activate Brutal in Arena whenever he's attacking imaginary weak enemies and not have to worry about the crit rate at all, which further allows you to stack crit damage, speed, and then attack. Following the same principles that you would for Seele. Once again, the reason that Seele is where she is, her natural multipliers, right? If we go to to her traces and we look at everything she has here, she naturally has some crazy cracked out multipliers. This is her ultimate, level 7, level 8, 382, almost 400%. This is her skill, again, 200 something percent damage of whatever she's got, and it's going to increase the speed by 25% of Seele herself for 2 turns, which is always on. Once you use her skill, this is always on. You should never not be using her skill, right? And then of course her actual talent, which is going to buff her even further using Resurgence. And Resurgence as a talent is just crack. You have attack percents, you have crit damages inside of her thing. She gets crazy amount of good stuff. Then you still have her bonus abilities. All of these things, the quantum penetration is huge. You have a character that is on paper by herself amazing. There's almost nothing in the game she can't do. In fact, the only thing I think in the game that she cannot do is apply DOT, shields, the stuff that just doesn't fall in her kit. And that's fine. You look at the speed, right? Most of us who are running Seele are not running speed percent boost. We're running attack percent. Why? Because her skill just gives her an extra 25%. Oh, you have her light cone. Her light cone is crazy good. Again, you don't need it, but what does it do? Extra crit rate for free. You get 10 damage or 10 speed. You get more attack, more skill, more crit damage on the ultimate. This is crazy to think about. This light cone is easily a top 3 light cone, and it was geared for her, but it works on a lot of the other hunt characters as well. So it's just crazy good. You have this character that allows you to be significantly stronger just by existing. Oh, I don't have that light cone. I don't have cruising in the Stellar Sea, I'm not gonna lie to you, but let's pretend Sleep Like the Dead is cruising in the Stellar Sea for just a moment. Boom, I can S5 that for free. I now have a very strong 5-star light cone option that I can give this character. Immediately puts it above other characters that don't have this option. I won't use the general for my example. Instead, I will use Kafka. If we look at Kafka and we see that Kafka by herself is a crazy strong character, amazing character by herself. Let's look at the option. We'll go down the order. Light cone. If you don't have her signature light cone, which completely, I don't want to say Kafka's light cone completely changes the character, but it does allow her to unlock things that she otherwise would not have the ability to do. Give herself another self-implied DOT or self-inflicting DOT. She has the speed boost that she gets from that, which allows her to creep up to that 200% speed that it started off as a meme, but now it's real. It's crazy. You have all these other options for Nihility, but we're going to look at Good Night Sleep Well, which is a crazy amount of damage stacked onto this character, especially if you can superimpose this to level 5. But Kafka has a thing that holds her back. In my opinion, I do believe Kafka is an S tier character, and then once you give her the team, she is now an S+ tier character, outside of hitting multiple targets, of course. Kafka's first limitations are her traces. There are her traces, they're her bonus abilities, the ability to unlock the attack percent boost, the effect hit rate for free to get, I think it's like 28% that you need or something like that. Getting her traces to a high enough level. You need these, or rather you want these to be like 888 or 88, 7, whatever the case may be. You want high traces. That's an investment. Then you have her relics, which you're looking for attack percent speed, attack percent speed, attack percent speed. She doesn't really care about crit rate. You do want some effect hit rate. And if you can manage the crit, because her skill and ultimate can crit on the initial hit, that's cool too, right? She has a good way to build her, but only caring about predominantly 2 substats makes it a little bit harder to only look for those substats and then only roll into those substats when you have 4 to worry about. And of course, it gets down to the actual speed. Kafka's a character where DOT is stronger the more you can detonate them, and her detonations do not remove the damage over time effect. So if she goes 3-4 times per turn, well, you just detonated 3-4 times within that. If your detonations are all doing 50k a pop, well, that's 50k times 3 or 4, you're doing a shit ton of damage for what Kafka allows. Again, there are some limitations. Let's go into the next part of what makes Kafka Kafka. Oh, you would like, you don't need it, but you would like another character to now inflict the DOT. So now you double what it takes for a Kafka. I need to build Luca. I need to build Sampo. I need to put on the light cone. I need to make sure this light cone is strong. I need to also get more of the traces. Same thing with Kafka. These traces need to be high. I need to worry about the bonus abilities. Now I got to build his relics, which relics are going to help. There's a lot that goes into that. Do I need Eidolons for my Luca, for my Sampo? Yay or nay? Which Eidolons am I looking for? These are the limitations that are applied to Kafka. So as we're looking at, Seele and then Kafka, it's very clear Kafka is S tier, but when you give her what she wants to make her a complete, if you will, a complete team, she jumps into S+ territory. Blade, very similar. Blade by himself, S tier character, destroys whatever's on the field. You give him what he wants, which in this case might be Bronya, boom, S+ tier. Oh, Blade has his light cone, boom, S+ tier. Blade without his light cone, S tier. With his light cone, S+ tier. Oh, you have Bronya? Go right ahead, bro. You get to go inside of the VIP room with Zila. Dan Heng comes out of the gate, and let me show you guys. I've talked about this in my guide already, and just briefly, and this isn't meant to bash Dan Heng. I don't want anybody to think about that. Daniel is a character with the limitation, right? The presumed or assumed, yeah, I'm right, presumed limitation that his ability to use his skill, which is where boom, 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 you suck up 3 skill points, bam, use your basic attack, you come all the way down here, you get some crazy damage multipliers. I believe at max level it's 500%, and now you can even see mine is not max level. I think mine's like level 6 or 400% damage on top of whatever it is that I'm doing. The cost is 3 skill points. We still have more damage left on the table. You have the talent itself adding into his stacks. You have the actual, where's it at? The skill right here, down here. Each stack of Outroar, Dominating Roar increases Dan Heng's stuff. That's 6% extra. So you have all this extra damage being applied to whatever he's doing all the time. Again, what are the limitations? Oh, you need 3 skill points. Most characters in the game would like to consume skill points, so that further limits the teams that you can build that don't use skill points in order to help him get 3 skill points per 1 attack per 1 turn, because getting 6 to 9 skill points per that turn requires a lot more investment. Now, how do you cheat the system? How do you cheat his limitations? The ultimate, that's number 1. When you use this ultimate, it gives you 2 free Squama tokens. Boom, that's 2 free skill points right there. But you're not always gonna have his ultimate, right? Of course, his ultimate costs 140, one of the highest ultimate costs in the game. How do we get around that? Yeah, well, you give him an ERR robe, which I don't think I have. Who has my, there we go, boom. Oh, you give him an ERR rope. Yay, that's cool. You can do that, right? Get a couple things out of there. Turn your 4 or 5 turn ultimate into maybe a 3 turn. We're chilling. But how much damage would I do if I didn't get my ultimate, right? If I could just only use the 3 skill points per that turn, how much damage do I do? Oh, you easily do 200,000 plus damage with the same thing that requires Blade, Zila, Kafka, whoever. They all have their own preferred partner, yeah? You give Dan Heng his own preferred partner, whether that be Yukong, Ting Yun, or Bronya, and they all have their varying damage buffs, but you give him one of the Harmony characters, 200,000 damage for free. Now, how do I double that? Oh, you make him go twice. I could do that? Yeah, you could do that. A lot of you guys were questioning, how would you do this with Dan Heng? Like, Bronya's his worst partner, blah, 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 blah. Y'all just didn't watch my video because I showed you literally how to do it. The shortest way for me to explain this, he gets 4 attacks per whatever turn you're doing this on, right? And this happens multiple times depending on the speed. He gets 4 attacks from whatever you're doing, 2 normal attacks if you decide to do that, and then 2 maxed out attacks. In reality, you can get 3 maxed out attacks, 1 normal attack. It'll just mess up your order when you're doing that. But on certain turns, it's possible. You also get your ultimate back immediately. Every single time you do this 4 attack run, you immediately get your ultimate back. That's with or without his signature light cone. So now your limitations have, guess what? Been removed. You no longer have those limitations. Oh, well, what if I only run him with Ting Yun or Yukong? All right, get him up to 134 in speed. The first turn, he can attack twice. Boom, you've set yourself up for the initial 4 turn cycle or 4 attack cycle, whatever it is, 2 attack cycle, my bad. You set yourself up for the 2 attack cycle. You get your ultimate, Ting Yun buffs you. She gives you her ult. You get closer to your ultimate. You do it again the next turn. She gives you your ult again a turn or 2 after that. You get your ult back, and you still have the 2 tokens that I didn't even talk about. The 2 free tokens, which means you still have 2 free skill points. His limitations basically don't exist. You have a fucked up kit. You have the ability for anybody to make absolute maximum damage builds out of this character, whether you be free to play or pay to win. I don't like using that term, but free to play or a premium paying character or player, I should say, you have the ability to make him fucked up. Then you add relics. Oh yeah, cool. What relics can I run? The same stuff as Zila. You can run a couple or a few different relics. Musketeer. You could run the wind set if you really felt like it for whatever reason. You could run the imaginary set, which further adds more damage and crit damage, what you can do, imprisoning enemies, stuff like that. You could run the glacial frost one to up how much crit damage you get after using your ultimate, which is going to give you free stuff so you can stack up and more like a crazy amount of crap. So when we look at Imagine Dragon, aka Daniel, young Danny man, okay, Danny boy is sitting here in S+ territory. Single target damage, annihilated. 3 targets, annihilated. AoE, annihilated. He is in every single department for damage. S tier damage, right? S+ tier damage. No other character is sitting in all 3 departments. None of these characters in all 3 departments. Not even Zila is in all 3 departments because of the AoE effect. You have Blade and then Kafka over here, which is rightfully so. I did mention this in a couple other videos, and I said the destruction characters were becoming nihility, and destruction characters were becoming too powerful. And I don't want to use the term power creep. I don't like that. I don't think that's what this is. I think genuinely, he is just really fucked up. And I don't like it. I love it from a I like big dick damage perspective. I don't like this now in 1.3 because it does put us in a power creep scenario. Again, I don't like power creep because there's no PvP in this game. It doesn't really matter. But I do think having Zila, fantastic. You have one side of the I'm strong as shit territory. Then you have Dan Heng, who's on the other side of the I'm strong as shit territory. We know Jing Lu is coming, I think next patch or something like that. So you now have Jing Lu, who potentially comes in the I'm strong as shit territory because she's destruction unit and a bunch of other crazy stuff that might apply to her kit. The big thing here is if in the event we start reruns for Zila and you got Dan Heng, you no longer need Zila, but you could get her if you wanted. Now you have the best 2 DPSs in the game. Hypothetically, what incentivizes new players or any coming player, like long-term player, veteran player, whatever, to pull for any other character in the game that does not now do the same damage as Zila or Dan Heng? Now you've put yourself in a horrible position. I can only pray that Topaz comes out and she sits in an S tier bubble, because if Topaz comes out and they throw her down there with Yangqing, well, who I at this point I have to agree with it. I normally don't agree with Clara and Yangqing being anywhere below S tier, but at this point I have to agree with it because you need a line of standard. You have to, I talk about this all the time, you need a line of standard when it comes to this over here. When it comes to any tier list, there has to be some line or some form of standard. What is the standard for this tier? What puts you in this tier? What boots you out of the tier? S tier, amazing character, like 1 to 0 flaws. S plus tier, you might have a flaw, but the flaw is so minuscule to the rest of your kit. You do so much in the game compared to your flaw no longer matters. Zila, what's her flaw? Oh, she got to get a kill. She gets the kill, then what? You lose the game. Like, you just obliterate whoever's on the team. Dope. What's Dan Heng's flaw? He needs 3 skill points. Oh, what happens when you use it though? Oh, you do 5 million damage. I can just turn him into a 1-attack nuke, 1-turn nuke. That's it. I could buff the crap out of him. I could weaken everybody on the team. Weakness break them so they take maximum damage. And then Dan Heng comes out of nowhere. Goosh. Everybody's dead. GG's. No other character in the game is doing that right now. You have Blade, and Blade is amazing. I love Blade. I love Kafka as well. They don't have boom, 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 boom. You see what I'm saying? They have to work for it. It has to be built up. So they belong in S tier. That's fine. Clara, what does Clara need? I gotta get hit. I need a lot of support, just like the other characters. I need to get boosted up, same thing as them, but I'm not wiping out enemies the way they're doing as easily as they're doing with as little conditions as they have. Clara's condition is you gotta hit me first. She's the when you see people getting into a fight and you know, they're like, swing first, bro. Swing first. You're not gonna swing on me, bro. Swing first. Swing first. That's Clara. That's Clara. She a little girl talking mad shit because she knows Savrog. Big Daddy Savrog in the back. He ready for her. He ready. You hit my daughter? Sending out the missiles. Autobots roll out. Like that's what Savrog does, you know? I think this is worth a discussion, and we're gonna be talking about this with Rihu tomorrow as well. But I think this whole conversation is absolutely worth the discussion to be having, because we are in that state in the game, or just in the community in general. This is a meta breaking discussion. It doesn't mean that you don't have Dan Heng, then it's over. I have to reiterate that a lot of times, right? Daniel is such a busted character. Anybody pulls Daniel, done. The only other thing you need, honestly, is Silverwolf. That's it. Even if you don't have Bronya, even if you didn't have Bronya, the only other thing you need in the game would be Silverwolf. If you were so worried about building, because you guys are always saying it, right? DPSs will always be power crept, supports forever, yada yada, this and that. Zila sits in that territory by herself, where like they would have to work extra hard to replace Zila or boot her out, to kick her out of S tier, the whole square of S tier. They have to work so much harder to make a character that's more fucked up than Zila to push her down. This is the thing, right? Let's say they made a Zila 2.0. That doesn't push Zila out of S plus territory. That just brings Zila 2.0 into S plus. Now you got 2 Zilas in S plus. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't boot her down. They would have to make a character so fucked up, and they would have to change the game, the enemies, everything, to counteract Zila, then make a character that does what Zila does, but for the new enemies, that's also just as fucked up, and then Zila would go down, temporarily, of course. Dan Heng, same thing. They would have to make it to where, like, you know the flowers that Fantilia has, and she sucks up your skill points? They would have to make that, but you just never get them back. There's an ability in the game from the enemies where they just take a skill point. Every time they attack, they take a skill point. At that point, Dan Heng, you just can't fight this enemy. You go down, bro. You cannot fight this enemy. Don't bring Dan Heng to this enemy. Down. Some characters go up, he goes down. That's how that would have to work. And that's generally how balancing works from what I've learned in these gacha type of games, which is usually fine because we have at that point, we have a multitude of characters to choose from for our DPS options. In order to make better characters, they need to be more fucked up than Dan Heng now. You have 2. You have Zila and you have Daniel. You need more. It's ridiculous where we are with this game right now. Like where we're going this quickly. Honkai Star Rail, we have a love-hate relationship right now because I didn't expect it. I just didn't expect it. I like Daniel. I don't like his playstyle, but I like Daniel as a character, like the kid, everything. I thought the limitation was gonna be like, yo, you're skill greedy. You're a SP hungry character. That's your limit, bro. Like, all right, cool. How much damage do you do? I do 500,000. That's cool, but like how many skill points does it cost? Oh, I gotta eat up the whole team's skill points. Say less, bro. You can have them. That's the reward, right? Like everybody on the team doesn't use skill points to give you the skill points so that you can do 500,000 damage. Easy, bro. That's a great limitation. We get him in the game. How many skill points you got again? Oh, I'm Pela. I don't need skill points. You made it in the club. Come on in, baby girl. What about you? I'm Team You and I only use 1 skill point and I buff you up. You made it in the club. Come on, baby girl. Thank you. All right, what about you? My name's Japard and I could be the best bodyguard you ever had in your life. You'll never take damage. Word? Oh yeah, facts. How many skill points you use? Bro, I can use or not use skill points. It don't even matter. What you want? Come on in the club, man. You made it. Locha. Hey, bro, you made it. Come on in. No explanation needed. No explanation needed, bro. Just come on in, bro. You got Kafka and Blade and all the other DPS characters outside. Can we come in? We can help, you know, like do more damage, support the team. Like we could be a sub DPS, you know, temporarily. Nah, I don't need you. I don't need it, bro. I do so much damage on my own. I'm the Michael Jordan. I'm literally, I think I stole that from Gotcha because I don't watch sports like that. So don't ask me nothing about sports and who's who, but I do know Michael Jordan. Point being is that man's is literally a star. He don't need nobody else. I'm Iron Man. I built the team. I do all the damage. I built the team. I made it. I am the Avengers. This is just, how do y'all feel about Daniel? Be honest. Let me know in the comments down below.